Well, here we are, everybody. Inventive Code Day 1 starting now. Let's see what we got. Just got up, so let's get into it. Been looking forward to this all year. This year we're going to be doing it with our new project, new group. Got 4 or 5 of us, I think, in the leaderboard here. Let's see. Sure enough, we got Midlander, we got Tiger Tim, we got Ethan, and of course we got us. So this is going to be a fun thing to do with some of our friends here. And I am really looking forward to this. Let's get into it. Okay, so we got day 1, calorie counting. The jungle must be too overgrown and difficult to navigate in vehicles or access from the air. The elves' expedition traditionally goes on foot. As your boats approach land, the elves begin taking inventory of their supplies. One important consideration is food. That's always important. In particularly, the number of calories each elf is carrying, which will be our puzzle input. The elves take turns writing down the number of calories contained by the various meals, snacks, rations, etc. that they've brought with them, 1 item per line. Each elf separates their own inventory from the previous elf's inventory, if any, by a blank line. In case the elves get hungry and need extra stacks, they need to know which elf to ask. They'd like to know how many calories are being carried by the elf carrying the most calories. In the example above, this is 24,000 carried by the 4th elf. Find the elf carrying the most calories. How many total calories is that elf carrying? Let's see how many elves we got to work with. Oh boy. So as you can see here, this is a pretty long list, but I think this is a super simple challenge to do. We'll probably be doing this year in Python, just because that seems like the appropriate language for a challenge like this. It's a really good scripting language, I would say. Let's get on with this. Alright, so here we are over in VS Code, where I do pretty much all of my programming. We're going to open a terminal right here. And let's see how this works out. I think the first step is probably going to be to get our input, so we will define a parser function we can use to do that. I'm going to open up our input file. As file pointer. Read in all of our data from the file. We'll convert that to a string. So to do that, we'll put a blank space right here and a .join method. And let's see how this works. Go ahead and save, and okay, we got a single string like that. Perfect. Now the next thing we need to do is to split it at those double lines. Which means we're going to split at 2 new lines. That should split it into each elf's list, right? So now we need to split this farther, which we'll use a list comprehension for that. We will say for elf in the thing that we just created, elf.split at a new line. And let's see how that comes out. And look at that. Now we have a 2-dimensional list where the inner list each represents an elf and what he brought as food. Now we can just simply return this. The one thing that we do need to do is we need to convert all of these into integers. So converting to int. Uh-oh. What do we got? What do we got? That's not good. Oh, I know why. Because we're trying to convert each list because it was elf.split. So what we need is a inner list comprehension right here, I think. Does that make sense? Int of calories, 4 calories in elf.split. Let's try that. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. And now we can define our actual process here for the picking, which will have our calories input right there. But we want to find the max value, right? Because we want to find the one with the most calories of a list comprehension, which is the sum of list for list in calories. And now if we print process on parser, we get ourselves 70,374. And let's see what we end up with. Here we go, moment of truth. Do we do this? Do we do it right? Loading. That's the right answer. We are 1 gold star closer to collecting enough star fruit. Let's continue to part 2. By the time you calculate the answer to the elf's question, they've already realized that the elf carrying the most calories of food might eventually run out of snacks. Well, yeah. To avoid this unacceptable situation, the elves would instead like to know the total calories carried by the top 3 elves carrying the most calories. Well, that shouldn't be too hard to find. So we're back right here, and we're going to define a second process, which we'll just call process 2. Also taking in calories. Now, I think what we need to do first is sort the list. You see, earlier we took the maximum, and this time I think we need to do the sorted version. How do you do sorted version? I have not done sorted version in a very long time. All right, here we go. Let's try this real quick. Print 3, 2, 1 dot sorted. That's not it. Oh, wait, here we go. None? What do you mean none? Why is it none? Oh. So what we see here is a couple different behaviors when it comes to lists. We've got some things, some methods will actually return what they've done to the list. You know, they'll hand it back to you as a copy of the list, but they won't actually modify the list. Others, on the other hand, like .sort, literally need to modify the list. So what I was hoping for is when we call a.sort, sort would return a modified value or a modified version of the list. That way a stays preserved. But in reality, what's actually happening is a is taking, or .sort is taking a and literally sorting it so that it rearranges it so that it looks like this up here. And then doesn't return anything, but if we print a, we'll be able to see its work. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, what if instead we use sorted? That works. Okay, so I think what we're going to go with here is using the sorted function instead of the sort method. So let's see what we get then if we return the sorted of the same list that we created up here. We get a sorted list. All right, now that we have it sorted, we need to take a list slice out of it that would be the last 3 elements. So we need to go nothing through -3, -1? Not quite, -4. Okay, there we go. And now we just sum that. Gives us a final value of 204,610. Now let's go see if we did that right. All right, here we go. Let's try that. And we got... That's the right answer. 1 gold star closer to collecting enough star fruit, and we have completed day 1. Yee-hoo! Well, that was a fun little warm-up challenge, I think. These will get tougher as the days go on, but you can see it's kind of little fun stuff like that, and this is just such an enjoyable competition to be in. Let's see how we're doing on our little leaderboard over here. So we have me and Tiger Tim right here, both completed with 2 stars. We have both completely finished the day. Woohoo! That's a good first day right there, I think. Well then, that was day 1. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, please consider leaving a like or a comment. I'll be continuing to do these as long as I can keep up with the challenges. If y'all enjoy it, yeah, I really hope y'all continue to watch. Thank y'all so much. Till tomorrow, goodbye.